Most believers in the Bible recognize the cross as a sign for salvation, which is good, because if it weren't for the works performed on the cross, along with the resurrection on the third day, we would have no hope in a future. But did you know that there's more to it than the cross being a sign? Did you know that the sign on the cross was a sign in and of itself? John 19:19 through 22. And Pilate wrote a title also, and put it on the cross. And there was written, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. This title therefore read many of the Jews, for the place where Jesus was crucified was nigh to the city. And it was written in Hebrew, and in Latin, and in Greek. The chief priests of the Jews therefore said to Pilate, Write not, the King of the Jews, but that he said, I am the King of the Jews. And Pilate answered, What I've written, I've written. Let's take a look at what Pontius Pilate wrote. Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. Now, this was written in 3 different languages, Latin, Greek, and Hebrew. But I want to focus on the Hebrew of this saying. Here it is in Hebrew. Now, it would be pronounced like this: Yeshua ha-Notzri v'Melech ha-Yehudim. The transliteration from Hebrew to English would read like this: Jesus the Nazarite and the King of the Jews. Now would be a good time to ask this question. Why were the chief priests of the Jews so angry with this statement? I think this might have something to do with it. If we take the first letter of each Hebrew word written on the sign, we get a Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. For those of you who are not familiar with the Hebrew name of God, this is how you spell it. Yehovah, Yahweh, Jehovah, however it is you pronounce it, the power is still there. Without even realizing it, Pilate fulfilled the will of God by placing this divine title above Jesus' head. This very sentence declares that Yeshua, Jesus, was Yahweh, God. That would indeed make the chief priests unhappy, seeing how they just had Jesus killed for making that claim. Now, as amazing as this is, though, there is still more to the sign of the cross. Let's jump forward to after the resurrection. The apostles were all gathered together, and Thomas has yet to see the Lord. And he says this, John 20, verse 25. So the other disciples told him, We've seen the Lord. But he said to them, Unless I see in his hands the mark of the nails, and place my finger into the mark of the nails, and place my hand into his side, I will never believe. Thomas is very clear that he wanted to see the nail marks in his hands. But why? Consider this verse in Isaiah, which Thomas would have known. Isaiah 49, verses 14 through 16. But Zion said, The Lord has abandoned me, and my God has forgotten me. Can a woman forget her nursing child, or have no compassion for the child of her womb? Even these mothers may forget, but as for me, I'll never forget you. Look, I've inscribed you on the palms of my hands, and your walls are forever before me. Could it be that Thomas knew that the Lord would have marks inscribed on his hands? If you're still not convinced, consider this. The Hebrew name for God is spelled Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. The ancient pictographic Hebrew letter Yod is a hand. The letter Hey is a man with his hand raised towards heaven. The letter Vav is a tent peg or a nail, and the letter Hey again is a man reaching to heaven. This is what the ancient name of God means. The hand revealed, the nail revealed. We see here that Thomas knew the Messiah would be pierced by nails. Thomas said that unless he sees the hands with the nail holes, he will not believe. Thomas is being an obedient follower of God's prophets by making Jesus prove himself to Thomas. Now, for anyone who doubts the validity of Yeshua Messiah, Jesus the Christ, as the atoning sacrifice for your sins, remember, it was carved in stone 4,000 years ago when Moses first wrote down those 4 powerful letters, Yod, He, Vav, He.